What's up, guys? Welcome to the Bolden Movement podcast. Today, a special guest, Miss Haley McChesney. She is a versed powerlifter. She is also an accountant on the side. While balancing these two things, she's going to tell you what it feels like to age out of her junior category, right? And some destinations and big plans she has for the year. So, of course, I'll open up what's kind of my knowledge when it comes to powerlifting. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong, if I'm, poking in the wrong direction. But when it comes to powerlifting, I can definitely appreciate the barbell. I think if someone could have one piece of gym equipment, it should be a barbell. I mean, you can squat with it, you can row with it, you can do hang cleans with it, you can squat and press, you can do snatches, you can do everything you need with a barbell. So even though I don't show me using the barbell a lot, I definitely stand behind the barbell very strongly because it makes you learn not only your motor skills and how strong you are and how quick your muscles can fire. You also get that confidence when you start to move that weight, right?
Yes.
So, and then you start to get kind of addicted to it and you want to go back and now you want to beat that weight, a little bit more weight, right? So my favorite lift in high school when I was playing football was power cleans. Loved power cleans. They always felt good. And I don't do them as much as I should, but when I need a full body, I'm always going to do a squat press and clean or a power clean with the bar. If I don't have a lot of time and I need that, I'm definitely going over there. The intensity of powerlifting, I feel like makes some people shy away from it, especially women. So I'm glad to have you on as a woman who is in powerlifting, kind of break that stigma of, what people are so afraid of when it comes to powerlifting. So without, furthermore, can you kind of tell me some of the questions you get or some of the myths that you hear around women in powerlifting?
Yes. So first, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about powerlifting. It's brought me a lot of good things in life and taught me a lot of good things. Um, to start, women in powerlifting is a big stigma. Women in the gym is actually the first big stigma. You don't hear a lot about women taking over the gym space, and it's definitely intimidating from the outside looking in.
Right.
You see a lot of big jacked men in the gym and it's scary. It's like, I don't fit in. I don't want to go here. And then, I can't speak for other gyms. I go to Hometown Barbell and I've created a community of women there that are absolutely amazing. And it's been so fun learning how to lift alongside other women that had the same nerves as I did coming in. But
Right.
if I'm telling the truth, the men in the gym are not as scary as they look.
Hey, I agree.
I've never had a bad interaction with a man or a woman at the gym I go to. So it's very inclusive. And that's one of my favorite things about powerlifting is the inclusive community. You don't get that too often.
Yes.
I played softball growing up, and in a lot of sports, it's very cliquey. It's very, I'm better than you. And, there are obviously bad apples in every bunch. You're not gonna go anywhere in life where everybody's just awesome and rooting for you. But for the most part, the inclusivity and the community of powerlifting has been my favorite thing. I mean, just by doing powerlifting, I met my now boyfriend. I met my now boss for my lifelong career. So it's crazy how the sport brings you more than just the sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, women in powerlifting is a big one. Second thing that I hear all the time is I'm not strong enough to compete in powerlifting. This is a very common misconception. So when you do your first meet, there is absolutely no guideline that says you have to be able to squat 100 pounds or bench press 50 pounds or whatever. You are competing against yourself in powerlifting. As you get to the higher levels, there are prizes to be won and like national championships to attend. But when you're doing a local meet, you're trying to beat your previous record. So if you squat 150 pounds at your first meet, your second meet, you should just want to do more than that. It's powerlifting is it's a sport of longevity. So like you don't just walk into powerlifting and just start breaking national records.
Right.
It's something that you have to do for years before you can build that kind of strength. And doing your first meet, there's no stipulation of what you should be lifting or what you should be doing. You just go. Your
Right.
first meet, honestly, I blacked out at my first meet. I don't even know what was going on. I was nervous.
Yeah.
So like there's no guidelines of what you should be doing, what you should be lifting, how you should be lifting. I mean, obviously having a coach and good form helps with injuries and stuff, but yeah, I hear so many people say like, "Oh, I'm not strong enough to do my first competition." And I'm like, "Yes, you are. Everybody is." I mean,
To get started.
I look back, like I think I only squat like 214 pounds at my first meet. And I mean, I just tripled 319 the other day. So it's like, it's not like, it's not, there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of for your first meet. I actually think it's kind of fun watching girls my size lift a crap ton more weight than me, but
yeah,
I think that's just me.
You'll get there. You're just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started young. So have you ever, you've done a couple meets under your belt, right? So have you ever been at a meet where it was like, you kind of have like those nerves hit you? Like, how do you get rid of the nerves when they do hit you? Like when you're about to sit down on the bench for the first time, it's hard to believe that you don't have any nerves at all.
Oh, no, you definitely do. So the way that you prep for a powerlifting meet, they go in 4-week cycles. So your week 1, you do SBD. Well, at least for my program, my coach does a SBD every week. So your week 1 kind of starts off as like somewhat easy and it progresses to week 4, which is like a RPE 9, which we could get into RPEs later. But you are basically like doing very heavy sets. So one thing that I'm very grateful that my coach taught me now is like you compete how you train and prep. So when you get to a meet, you kind of go into autopilot and it's like you remember what you did in prep, so you just do it here. But you take a lot of heavy lifts when you're in prep for a meet. So I just always tell myself like I am scared and I don't know what is going to happen, but just do it. Like you really just kind of come to the conclusion of like the worst that happens is you don't get the lift. So then going into like a meet, I can just speak for myself. When you go out into the crowd for your first squat and you look up and see all the people, you're just like, holy shit. Man. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on here. Sorry.
You're fine. It's been flying all season.
But it's just like, you look up and you're just like, oh, wow, this is real. This is happening. And then, I mean, once that happens, you feel like a rush of adrenaline go through your body. And then it's just cool. This is fun.
Get in the zone.
Yeah. It's definitely fun because the crowd gets involved and the crowd hypes you up. So you kind of forget you're nervous.
Yeah, I like that. I think the key things that that you were saying is one, the community of women that you've built. I think a lot of what keeps people in not only fitness but anything is going to be having that community.
Yeah.
You know, they help bring you in, hold you accountable, but not in a way where it's like, you know, weight or bothersome. It's in a way where like I'm excited to go see like this group of women. We're all going to support each other, get a good lift in, you know. So I think the energy of a group is very good. I like teaching boot camp classes more than a lot of one-on-one because I can get the energy of the group to get hyped, and then it hypes me up. Then I'm pulling strangers out the crowd trying to get them to join my class. You know, like the energy is there for that boot camp. So community is definitely big.
Yes.
And then the next thing is you're just competing against yourself, right? So a lot of people can get hung up on looking left and right and who's doing this weight and that weight and how old is she and who does she think she is? And, you know, like I know, but if you're only trying to beat yourself, is it safe to say you'll have more like fulfillment from going to the meet? Like if you're beating your own numbers every time, there's always something to celebrate. Or do you think that it's hard not to look over at the person that's, you know, 2 or 3 times stronger than you? Is it hard to stay focused as you get started? Or is it like, I can't not look over there? Like they're doing all this crazy stuff.
No, definitely to start, it is like Well, first, let me backtrack because social media plays a really big part in this because a lot of the famous powerlifters on social media
Mm-hmm.
are world record holders. And so, like, for example, I follow this girl named Lily Riley. She's an Australian powerlifter and she can squat over 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see that and it's hard to be like, oh, wow, I'm only squatting 300. But it's like
Yeah.
somebody next to you is saying, oh, wow, she's squatting 300 and I'm only
Right.
doing 200. So, I mean, this goes for everything. Comparison is the thief of joy. And
Mm.
I think social media plays a really big part in a lot of people in powerlifting expecting more out of themselves. But having unrealistic standards for yourself and for your lifting is detrimental to your powerlifting career and also your mental health. There's always going to be somebody out there lifting more than you, doing better than you. But if you, like I said, if you go to a meet and you're breaking your personal record from your last meet, that's all you can do. But I definitely think in the beginning, it's very easy to be like, oh, wow, she's over there squatting 300 pounds and she weighs less than me.
Right.
But it's cliche and everybody says it, but everybody started somewhere. I mean, me and my best friends at the gym will all the time go back and watch videos of when we first started powerlifting and we are just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is the ugliest squat I've ever seen in my whole life. I don't know how I didn't hurt my back deadlifting. Like, you name it, we said it and we laugh about it.
Right.
But I was that beginner girl one time going like, oh, wow, she squats 200 pounds. Like, that's crazy. I could barely stand up with 80 pounds.
Yeah. Right.
And now it's like, here I am doing that. And I'm teaching women below me how to do that. So it's a full circle. It all comes full circle. But to start, it's definitely hard to not look left and right and be like, oh, wow, she's doing better than me and
Right.
she's doing more than me. But you eventually just realize you're in this for you. A majority of the people aren't going to make money off of the sport of powerlifting. So if you don't enjoy it, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah, but you can get like sponsors, right? And like some type
Yeah.
of branding and stuff. But you
Yeah.
have to be
I mean, yeah, you can
professional for that
definitely.
stuff.
Sorry, say that again.
You have to be professional to get like any type of sponsors or branding when it comes to powerlifting.
Yes, but I think they're like sponsored athletes.
Okay.
Like the big brands like A7 and SBD and Avansis, like those are like big powerlifting gear brands. You have to be like
You have to
a
win, right?
big world record holder to be
Yeah.
sponsored by them. I'm sponsored by a clothing company called Victory Speaks, and they're pretty large, but it's not to the scale of like the huge brands that go worldwide. So, I mean, there's money to be made everywhere, especially with like clothing sponsorships and content creation. But
Right.
for the majority of the time, if you're not like the top 2% of powerlifters, you really don't go anywhere here. You just kind of do it more so for physical health, enjoyment, the community, and all the good things.
Right. And then so you clearly have been taking care of your body
Yeah.
because you were telling me that you were also playing softball as a catcher
Yes.
coming up, and you kind of stayed, lifting weights and stayed around that general setting. So like outside the gym, what is something that you do that's not powerlifting or weight room related?
One of my favorite things to do is go hiking.
Okay.
So it sucks when it's cold out, but
What is it about hiking that you like?
I really just like being outside. I mean, powerlifting is fun, but it's monotonous. You do the same 3 lifts, squat, bench, and deadlift.
Yeah.
You do the same like general area of accessory work, but it's for a good reason. But it's very monotonous. Like
Right.
every day you're going in the gym doing the thing you did last Monday, and then on Tuesday you're doing the thing you did last Tuesday. And so I think just changing things up and doing a different physical activity that's good for my health is really anything I like. I mean, I want to get into like playing tennis, but I haven't
Oh
done that
yeah.
yet. But yeah, I mean, going to the gym, you do the same thing every week. So it's just like getting able to go outside and like hike through the trees and see nature and still know that I'm doing something good for me. I like it.
I can definitely attest to being outside as definitely beneficial. For my mental health personally, when I want to be taken away from like all the training and the podcasting and the program writing and the follow-ups, the calls, the meetings, like when I want to get away from all of it, because I'm all in on training. I'm all in. So like when I want to get away from it, it's like on a smaller scale, okay, get a shower in you, get your thoughts, get your thoughts set, and then, go back out. But on a bigger scale, when it's a lot of decisions that I have to make, and I know like I have to make them now, putting everything down and going outside is that separation where I can get more clarity. Because without all the screens and everything in front of me and all the distractions, I can breathe and I can hear more insight, because there's nothing really stopping me from letting all the ideas and all the things that I'm worried about swarm, but swarm long enough to where I start to hear the answers. But you have to be able to sit long enough to actually hear that. And a lot of people get afraid of sitting with their own thoughts. You have to have music in, or you have to have the phone on. But like sitting with your thoughts, even for just 10 minutes, I tell my clients, even just 10 minutes in the morning or throughout the day, just something you do just for you. Like mine is having my tea with my dog. He's not going to say nothing to me. Like, he's not going to get me riled up first thing in the morning, right?
Right.
And it's quiet and it's the first thing. But outside, that's a bigger scale. Now I can take, an hour out there with the dog and think and solve problems in my head, and then come back to the world and come back to the screens with creativity. Because all I'm trying to do is be as creative as I can and create something in a way where it helps people. So my creativity definitely thrives outside and also in writing. So I do journaling as well on those colder months. So I can't go outside. Journal. Do you do anything like that when you can't get outside?
I do journal. I've also, I used to be into reading, but I kind of just like ventured away from it because I was moving all the time. Like if I wasn't in the gym, I was at work. And if I wasn't lifting for myself, I was training other people. So I was like always on the go. And then, before I was an accountant, I was a bartender. So I was like always on my feet, always going. And it felt weird to like sit with my own thoughts. It's funny you bring that up, because it's like you're by yourself and you're just like, oh, wow, I have a lot to do. Let me go to Target and distract myself. That's not good. But yeah, so I've recently re-gotten into reading, just taking a few minutes out of the day to just sit down and read and like have no noise with my dogs, because they don't talk.
So they're not going to say anything.
Yeah, but when it's warm, I definitely like to be by myself outside, just like walking through I live in the woods, so I like to walk through the woods and just see nature. But in the cold, I like reading, because it sucks you can't really go outside.
Yeah, because it gets really cold here. 19 degrees today.
Yes.
It's very cold. I mean, even with the busy schedule, I find that I'll do like an Audible, which sometimes I have to, rewind it. But I've rewind it a couple of times and, not have the time to pick up that book.
Yeah.
And I find the best time to kind of have that, whether it's journaling or being outside or having that audiobook, is in the morning.
Yes.
Before anybody talks to you, before anything happens, if you could just get 10 or 15 minutes of some concrete information or a concrete laugh that you haven't had in a while, or a concrete, like your emotions are going to be heightened based off of that first emotion of the day. And I learned that early on. So I know, like, if I'm going to study something and I want it to stick, I'll start early in the morning before everybody wakes up.
Yes.
Do that hour, do that 45 minutes, and it'll stick. But if I go to like social media first thing, or I'll go to, my email or something, I could get flustered. Now my day starts with anxiety. It starts with stress. So definitely, I tell a lot of people who are busy, working at home, business owners, entrepreneurs, to take that 10 minutes to breathe and to start the day off not opening up your email.
It's so true. It's funny. My boyfriend, he's a frequent get up at like 3:00 and get all his work done.
Love it.
He has a full-time job. So as well as coaching, goes to work. So he'll get up and do his like coaching in the morning. And he was always like, you should just like get up and do like drink
Yeah.
your coffee before people wake up. And I was like, you're so annoying. Stop telling me this.
Yeah.
But then I started going to the gym early and like having just my time in the morning, and it is nice. It's like fully silent, still dark
Yeah.
out, drink your coffee. That's when I will like read or do whatever and then spend some time with myself before I go to the gym and start my busy day. But I used to try and do it at night, but it's like trying to wind down after having racing thoughts about like work and school or whatever all day.
Right.
It's hard to just like sit there and relax.
Yeah.
It's
It's
better when
best.
you wake up after a full night of sleep and you're refreshed and you just have a clear mind.
Yes. And your mind, when you first wake up, is also still in that dream state. So within the first
Yes.
hour of waking up, you can have more stuff stick more vividly. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, after all distractions, even for me, going to the gym in the evening versus the morning is night and day.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
the vibe is night and day, the people, the music, what's available, like it's night and day. Cause
yeah.
I mean, I'm probably biased, but I think the people in the morning are working harder
Yeah.
than the people in the evening. The evening time is social hour at the gym. That's fine. I've been working at gyms for over a decade. I
Yeah.
understand that. But in the morning time, I notice that's when the workers are there. Like if I want to make a serious look how we met. It was
Yeah.
early, it was in the morning time. I was training.
At
So
5
it's
in the
like
morning.
when I want to meet like a serious like connect, not necessarily a client, but a general like relationship and connection with somebody where I think that we can both benefit each other. It's usually in the morning time. It's usually these people that have that schedule where it's like I'm here for this hour, then I'm going to work. I'm here for this hour, then I'm running.
Yeah.
This hour, then I'm going to the bus, taking the kids.
No time to talk.
No time to talk.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, I need to figure out what they got going on.
Yeah.
They're focused. I'm attracted to people who are focused because it's like, yo, if they have drive, I get energy off that too, and I
Yeah.
want to keep elevating as well. So
Tied together. Yeah.
yeah. So do you find that being around certain people helps you elevate versus the people that like to stay stagnant and maybe complain a little bit more?
Um, yes. I mean, everywhere you go, there are going to be people that complain and people that are negative and nothing's ever good enough.
Right.
But you definitely notice a change in energy when everybody around you, especially in powerlifting, is uplifting and positive and happy go lucky. Obviously not everything is like rainbows and butterflies all the time. I mean, you can ask my friends, they make fun of me, but when I do a powerlifting meet, like my headphones are in, I'm in my zone, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say about the social hour because like at night it's so hard to finish your lift because it's like
Everybody's
first of all,
chilling.
you can't get on a piece of equipment. And then everybody's talking about what happened about their day.
Yeah.
At 5 in the morning, I work out with my friend Alyssa in the morning, and we don't we catch up like for our warm up on the treadmill, and then our headphones are
Yeah.
on and go lift, and it's strictly business.
That
But
morning crew is serious. I've seen it for
yeah,
years. That morning crew is always serious.
yeah, but it's definitely better to surround yourself with people that are positive and enjoying the sport. But I think this is just a side note. I think that everybody finds their reason. And I actually injured my lower back really bad last year in a year ago. It was February of 24. And I remember before that, like I wasn't always the most positive about the gym or powerlifting. And I was just like, oh, I have to go to the gym today. And like,
Yeah.
ew. And I hit this rut where like I was just like, I don't like it. And then I stopped taking care of my body and I got hurt and I could barely walk. And I basically gave myself an ultimatum. Like, I was like, if you want to do this, you need to, first of all, get it together, but also find your reason for this because not everybody gets to wake up and go to the gym. Like, there are people wishing they could get out of bed to go to the gym. And I know people say that, but until you go through that moment where you can't even pick up a barbell, it's like,
Right.
this is real. So I think going through that, I learned like I'm blessed to be able to wake up and walk and drive my car to the gym and
Yeah.
do all this stuff. And I think that is really when my mindset on powerlifting changed because I was in the gym, because I was just like, I can't take this for granted because I
Right.
did. And now I can't even walk. So
Mm.
that didn't get me very far. But
Right.
just finding enjoyment in the process and really just enjoying the journey. Like it gets fun when you start to have a positive outlook on it, and hanging around people that have the same positive outlook as you definitely helps.
Yes, it definitely does. And I mean, since it was such a big point in your life, can I ask how you injured your back? Was it powerlifting or in the gym?
It was powerlifting. So this is another thing about women in powerlifting. The societal norm for women talks about like, or I guess shows us that you want to be like size 0, have no muscle, you're afraid to lift because you're going to get bulky, you don't want to
Right.
eat,
Right.
less than 1,000 calories a day. I mean, you've heard them all.
Yep.
So I started to kind of like have body image problems, which I've had my whole life, but I wanted to like really work on that, but I was not eating. And I hired this dietitian, and like we went into this rigorous cut way too quickly. I was eating like no food, trying to lift this heavy weight in the middle of my meet prep. And I was like frail. I was feeling really bad about going to the gym this week. And I remember I deadlifted that week and I didn't feel great, but I was just like, okay, I'm just fatigued, like whatever. So I came back on that Saturday to do my SBD. And when I squat, I did something to my lower back and I like stood up and I couldn't bend over. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And
Oh man.
so yeah, along with finding my enjoyment of the process of powerlifting and like the whole journey, I really focused on fueling my body and not letting society tell me what I should look like. Because you don't need to weigh a certain number, you don't need to be a certain image, you don't need to look a certain way to be accepted in society, but also in powerlifting. And it's cooler when you eat your food and can lift more weight.
Yeah.
So the other day when I squat 319, that was actually like 1 year to the day of when I hurt my back.
Mhm.
So that was really big for me.
Yeah, that's a nice moment.
Yeah.
Think of how far you come.
Yes.
So when after you went through what you went through and you have that different, we'll say perspective, um, is it are you like less fearful now? Are you more cautious now? Like what is the shift? Like I know it got you back in the gym, but like what is that emotion where it's like I can't take this for granted?
Yeah. I think I'll say it made me more educated and aware. So I used to like freak out like, oh my gosh, did I like eat all my food? Am I gonna get this lift? Am I gonna whatever? I put so much pressure on myself to be able to hit the numbers I was supposed to hit. And I really just focus more on like being aware of what's going in my body, making sure that I'm fueling it, making sure I'm drinking enough water, making sure I'm taking my supplements.
Mm-hmm.
And really just like going in the gym and doing what I know, and whatever happens, happens. So, I mean, I would say I'm more cautious, but I'm not like scared because I'm just honestly thankful to be able to still be powerlifting,
Right.
and I'm going to do it as long as I can. But my favorite thing to tell myself before I'm like nervous for a lift is just do it scared. Like you can't, as in life, you can't just sit back and like wait for these things to happen. And if you wait until you're ready, you're never going to be ready.
I agree.
You really just have to do it scared.
Yeah.
But I think perspective is a great word because you really shift your whole viewpoint on the sport, on the gym, on the culture, like all of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's crazy how
Good
something
breakthrough.
so negative and painful and scary turned into the biggest life lesson for me.
All right. And I think that there's something to say when tragedy does happen, what the silver lining is and what we pull from it.
Yes.
Because like some people can say like, well, if you believe in this and that, then why do bad things happen? And my rebuttal to that is because you can take good from both. A lot of
Yes.
my best role models, they were considered the bad guy, the villain, but
Yeah.
they were so strict and stern in what they taught me. I remembered it. It wasn't the people who coddled me and
Yes.
giving me
Oh,
chances. It's
100%.
like, I mean, you're like, oh, they were so nice, and that's the end of the story. They were so nice, but
Right.
those people that
They
was
didn't do any
stern,
impact.
Yeah, they have that impact. So it's like, I mean, you get good from both, good and
Yes.
bad people, good and bad situations, and a lot of people sit and they'll swarm, say they're in a situation like you were and they hurt their back and their thought process is, I knew I shouldn't have done this. I knew I was
Yeah.
going to get hurt. And they don't go back ever to lifting, right? So it's definitely great that you could get yourself out of it and not go the other direction where it was like, you were down on yourself
Yeah.
because, you going through the body image thing, you could very easily have been like, I'm not doing this anymore because
Right.
now look what happened to me. So you pulling yourself out of that, I think that's something to definitely speak on to inspire women. Like, it's tough. I stumbled harder than others in some areas, but look where I am now. I've come back, and I think there's a lot of value in healing and inspiration in telling your story, even the bad ones, the tough ones.
Yeah. Well, you have to include bad. That may mean
Got to,
got to take the good with the bad.
got to. Um, okay, so for 2025. What do we have going on in 2025? I believe we have a meet in May.
Yes, on May 17th, I'll be doing my fourth meet.
Okay.
And I'm really just kind of going in. I'm praying I stay healthy, but I really just want to go in and be able to have fun. And I haven't really made goals yet because I've kind of been I'm just now coming out of like the whole rebuilding process. So like I just hit my first couple squat PRs in a long time because of this whole injury. So I haven't really made any goals yet, but I mean, I hope I'll be able to squat like 330 at the meet. I don't know. Who
You'll
knows?
beat 319. You'll do better than 319.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
definitely
so
will.
I don't know. We'll see. But I really just want to stay healthy, but then my age category is from 20 to 23. So I turned 24 this November. So I'm hoping to do one more meet in the junior category before I graduate to the open division. So
Yeah. And what changes when you go to the open division? Is it more competition or what is it?
yeah,
I don't know. Okay.
yeah, it's just really the level of competition because I think that the open category goes from like 24 to 39 or 36. I don't actually know. Don't quote me on that, but it's 24 to 30 something. So
Right.
it's like the age range of people. So once you're in that age range, it breaks you out by weight class. So there's typically a lot more people in those categories that you compete against, but I
Is
don't
that
really
a
care.
goal to get there and like be competitive in that arena too?
Um, yeah, I think eventually it's very easy for powerlifting to overtake your whole life. So I'm also in the process of like trying to build my career and figure out what I'm doing with my life. So
Right.
I definitely take powerlifting serious, but it's not like my main focus all the time. So I think eventually once I kind of like settle down with my career and like figure everything out and where I want to live, what I want to do and all that good stuff, I'll probably be able to devote a little bit more time to it, but for now I just kind of enjoy doing stuff locally, nothing too crazy,
Yeah.
just kind of enjoying everything.
But you still do some coaching, right? On the
Yeah,
side
yeah.
or
So
online.
I do virtual nutrition and powerlifting coaching. I have a full roster of women right now, which
Oh,
is
nice.
awesome. Yeah. I really just I think that I was put on this earth to inspire women to feel comfortable in their bodies and find their strength in whatever way they want. And so I found that by coaching and meeting people at the gym and powerlifting, I'm able to do that. So that fills my cup a lot.
That's good. I definitely like that you feel like your mission is to inspire. Um, because when you help people inspire people, I think it feels different, like a different type of fulfillment.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference between people who inspire and people who don't, or is just like fear of
Yes.
being authentic, fear of being
Yeah.
judged, fear of being all these things. But it's like so many people have so much to offer, but they're so afraid of being judged. They
Yes.
keep they keep everything that they can bless people with inside. So,
Yeah.
the more like me and you and people talk about our stories and how we enjoy inspiring people, maybe more people will speak on it. I like to thank when I do these podcasts, the people who watch me in silence. They're never going to like my videos. I'm never going to know who they are, but they could watch it in silence and be building themselves up. And
Yes.
what I talk to and what I really push with like my men, especially young men that I talk to, is a man isn't just like a provider and a protector, right? Of course, those are things, but we know that. But the other thing that the piece that's missing with men is having the ability to uplift somebody else in their own arena.
Yes.
See, a lot of people they want you to do what they're doing, believe what they believe, do things the way they do it. But if I'm in the bodybuilding and physique and you're in the powerlifting, I want you to hit your numbers. I want you to push it. Like I want to push you in your area. I'm not going to say, well, how much are you curling?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to make it about me, but
Yeah.
that piece, and it's a number of things. It's like I see a lot of women recreate themselves, and as time goes on throughout their life, and they find new hobbies and new crafts and new friends, and a lot of men don't. And the reason a lot of men don't because women communities are more uplifting, and
Yeah.
the male communities that I've been in are way more competitive. There's way more
Yes.
pride in these rooms.
Yeah.
It's just a what contest, right?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, the uplifting part of it. So that stigma is what I try to break.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's been socially normalized that men are just aggressive, they protect,
Yeah.
and that's it. Just
Yeah.
provide. And it's just like, no, real men can lift up their wife, their kid, their nephew, their mom, in their own
Right.
arenas and whatever they're doing too. So
Yeah.
I think that it's great that you have that community at the gym, and I think that it'll continue to grow as you're there, and
Thank you.
especially as people hear your story, which I think you should share and talk about. I think more women will gravitate and be attracted to you. So
Thank you.
no problem. So I don't want you, downplay that you like to inspire, because I don't want you to feel like you have to pick between your career and helping people, because I don't want you to block your blessings. Like if there's people there that you can help, find a way that it works for, your career and your time and, the type of free time you want. Like how much time do I want to put into this? Because what I'm getting out of it is helping this person. It's past the money at a certain point, and it's
Yes.
like that person's not depressed anymore. That person actually comes outside now. That person is wearing real clothes again, right? So when you inspire somebody, they build their confidence right in front of your eyes, and that always feels good. And you have that, energy so young. You're about to be 24. So by the time I'm 31, so by the time, you're 31, I mean, you have a huge community behind you because you didn't feel like you had to pick. So I don't want you to feel like I have to pick between my career and helping. You could have both. You could definitely have both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't mean to overwhelm you. I just,
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
definitely want you to.
I think it's crazy that the whole like gender stigma thing and like what you say is so true, but I think it's so cool to see people that have been through the cocky men stage, and like for me the body image female stage, and it's
Right.
like we healed and we learned that there's more to it, and it's like now we're inspiring the younger generation so they don't have to come up thinking like, well, I'm a man, all I need to do is provide, and
Yeah.
who cares if I'm rude because I'm meant to be aggressive. Like,
Yeah. It just gets you nowhere.
yeah, yeah,
So we're trying to instill, new norms.
yeah,
And I mean, you talk about the professional powerlifters and how intense it is. Like, yeah, they have sponsors because they're professional. They have world
right.
records. Like, they're on TV. Like, of course they have sponsors. All eyes are on them. And it's like, it's the same way when I look at people who do bodybuilding. I mean, they're going to do curls and they do a backflip after. You did a backflip after? Like, it's so intense. But like what they're
Yeah,
doing out there in the West Coast and all that stuff now,
yeah,
it's far more intense. So it's like, I shouldn't follow all these accounts because it's going to make me feel like I'm nothing. It's going to make me feel this
yeah.
big
You
because
never
you're
feel like you're big
comparing
enough.
apples to oranges. I
Yep.
mean, you're comparing, professionals to you just getting started. And the comparison
Right.
piece, is it's so easy to get caught into it where it's like you have to put the blinders on. Like, don't follow accounts that trigger you. And like people that trigger you, like I have no problem deleting and blocking and unfollowing something that triggers me. It's like people will like follow somebody or an account that frustrates them or that makes them be like, oh, this and that. But they keep following and looking at it. It could be somebody from high school, it could be a professional athlete, it could be whoever. And you keep following that person and just letting it, and that's part of the energy that we could use to inspire people and elevate our life. That's that left and right piece where it's like, it's so easy to be pulled left and right. It's so easy. But making that circle small and keeping the blinders on is definitely worth it. Because I used to have crowds and crowds of friends, but were they really friends? I don't think they all actually wanted me to succeed, right? So
yeah, you definitely realize that as you go on in life.
Yep. So I mean, staying focused, keeping the circle tight is definitely worth it, and definitely don't limit yourself.
Yes.
Definitely.